Right guys, so you're probably in for a bit of a treat today, kind of, maybe. So I decided, I've been doing a few videos over the last while, been everything from Core Factor to Automobilista, and everyone knows, or maybe they don't, that ACC is actually my main sim that I do like league racing in. I've been doing league racing in ACC since the start of the year pretty much, and my car of choice, my weapon of choice, always, well certainly for the last 6 months, pretty much has been the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2. This is said car. So a couple of days ago I put a video up of the new Group C Chevy Corvette around Indianapolis. Now I'm going to take it to ACC in a GT3 car. The course layout is slightly different, but you get the idea. It's pretty much a comparison, just to kind of give you an overview as to what the Audi is like in ACC, so anyone that's into ACC thinking of picking up the R8. And quick lap around, well, maybe a few laps around Indianapolis as well, just to kind of give an idea as to what you can expect. Now, I'm not warmed up for Indianapolis in this. I haven't raced on Indy here in about 6 weeks, if not more, probably longer actually. So this is just really a lap just to break down the Audi, give people an idea of what ACC is all about. So with that anyway, one thing you'll notice with the Audi, if you get into it, it's very similar to the Lamborghini in terms of its pitch sensitivity. Probably not as bad, but it doesn't like to basically be thrown from side to side too easily. You've got to be very careful with the brake, careful with how you present it to a corner. Let the car kind of do the work for you. The weight shift in ACC is very real, and you have to wait until the thing is settled before you start giving it more inputs. You really do, and you have to be patient in some corners, particularly with the R8. It's not a car that you can just lob in with sloppy driving and get away with the way you can. Like, let's say in a front engine car like a BMW or even the McLaren. Actually, no, that's a mid-engine, but it's a very easy car to drive. Recommended to newbies as well to the game, and just if you're into kind of pushing the car without risking death all the time, it's also a good car to consider. But I like the intricacy of the Audi. I think it's a quick enough car. It's a good average pace all round. It can win at most tracks. Not great in the wet, by the way, because the electronics on it are just absolutely terrible. You'll find with the traction control, like between 6 and 7, it's like a huge difference in terms of, 6 will get you out of the corner but could spin you. 7 just won't move. You'll be left waiting to accelerate forever. Like, it's just so annoying. But yeah, like I say, it's this is one of the good bits about ACC as well, is that of all the different cars you've got, which you've got a few, they all tend to be almost equally as competitive as each other, but they deliver their lap times in different ways. You have to drive them different, feel totally different to drive as well. And particularly like mid-stint, you'll notice like some of the front engine cars, they'll start to eat through their front tyres. The midships will be a bit more even, but you'll have a snappier rear to kind of contend with as the stint goes on. And that's just something that people have to be aware of, I suppose. But generally speaking, all of the cars are really well balanced. There's a car for everybody's driving style, and that's one of the good things I like about ACC. Car for everyone's style, and they're to enter that corner awfully, but there's a car for everyone's driving style, and it's also a case where you can pretty much hit the same lap time as anyone else. The balance of performance across the grid is spectacularly good in this game, and I mean, yes, each car will have its own kind of favourite track where the BOP is slightly better. Across the season there might be some cars that tend to have a better performance, like from one season to the next. At the moment it's probably the Honda, I think, in ACC at the moment is, let's say, the best on average. But that will change, that changes from season to season, and not only that, you've got a situation where, okay, people might say, yeah, it's the fastest, but at the same time, it's probably one of the most difficult to manage over a stint as well. You'll probably notice that I'm also, when I'm driving, like I'm trail braking kind of into corners as well to kind of keep the front kind of pitched in. Now that takes with it kind of a lot of confidence in your own ability, right? Because you get to a point where you can control the throttle. These have traction control, so even a bit of a slip like this is easily caught. But where the real skill is being able to control the car coming into a corner with the back stepping out while you're on the brakes. That's something different that gets picked up the more experience you get, like particularly some of the tracks, like if you can imagine, for example, at Spa going into Puon, you're coming in from crazy speeds, you're on the brake at the same time, trying to slow the car down, get it turned in, keep the back from stepping out. But this is what I've always said about ACC. The weight balance, the pitch, the shift of a car is so realistic. And it reacts as well with suspension changes also. Like if you soften off the dampers too much, or you soften off the suspension, the spring rate too much, or let's say you extend the bump stop range or have it too soft, you will definitely notice with the pitch of the car it'll become sloppy, it will become very weighty side to side, and you'll begin to bleed lap time everywhere basically. And then likewise, if it's too stiff, it'll just start skipping across the road, skipping across the bumps. So yeah, ACC in that sense, like there's a number of reasons why it's so popular. The realism of the car is one, and I'm trying to be unbiased saying this, like it is my main simulator, but I have to also, give credit where it's due. Like it's done a lot right, and then I suppose what it's done is it's also standing on top of the Assetto Corsa brand as well, as a whole, which we're all familiar with how successful that's been over the last number of years. So you've got a situation then where you've got ACC standing on top of Assetto Corsa, but its own development in its own right, with its own licensing for GT3. We've got the 2018 right the way through to the 2022 season now. We've got GT4s, we've got mixed grid racing, we've got the M2 CS touring car, we've got the Ferrari Challenge Evo, we've got 2 iterations of the Lamborghini ST, 2 iterations of the Porsche Cup car. So there's a lot going on in ACC. There's a lot for everybody to kind of get stuck into, and there's a lot of leagues online. There's tons of stuff. Even LFM, obviously, as we all know, are heavily involved with ACC as well. And factor in that it's predominantly GT3s is what people race, okay? And we have like 20 something tracks, I think, broadly speaking. Well, what you get now is you've got a focused kind of racing series and a limited number of tracks. Still enough tracks to perfect and stuff and have fun. They're all fantastic. And what you get is you get everybody kind of funneling into the same series, focusing on a limited number of tracks, and they become really fast. And what happens is it raises the bar of the sim racers that you're going to race against. Because it's so focused, and you'll find, and I can tell you now, guys, I've raced online on pretty much all sims at various different points, and I know at the top end of iRacing you've got really fast guys and stuff, right? But I will say that in my experience, even coming up those ranks in ACC, for example, the competition has been very fierce at all levels. And at the top end, again, it's pure alien spec at the top end, which I'm not there yet, but I'm probably about a second and a half on some tracks to half a second on others away from like alien-ish type of pace, in this game at least. But yeah, these are just some of the reasons why I'd recommend ACC to anybody, and I think particularly for the online, like the volume is there online. It's known globally at this stage that, you know, the GT3 kind of king almost. If you're coming from a different sim, it's going to feel different because it's more sensitive to inputs. It's a lot more sensitive to inputs. Arguably too sensitive, maybe, I don't know, but I mean these cars can be set up to be as safe or as twitchy as you want. It's entirely up to you, and this is the beauty as well of ACC, that as you start off, let's say, racing in the lower ranks online, as you get more hours under you and more experience driving the car, you will start to feel more comfortable with more, let's say, looser setups that you wouldn't have been able to drive, let's say, when you started out, but now you can start to drive them and build up your confidence and maybe gain a bit of lap time here and there. But I would say that like certainly at the start, like a lot of people at, let's say, newbie type level to a game with little experience, the default setups in the game are really good to learn your craft. Then after a while, like I say, start experimenting, because you can gain speed by changing the setups and stuff like that. But again, you need to have a certain degree of ability to be able to control them, to be fair. And that takes a lot of hours to build up, you know, but like I say, it's a great game. And if you're into a bit of offline racing as well, my experience with the AI offline has been really good. Really good. I think I have a video on the channel somewhere where I was doing like 3 laps at Spa where I couldn't shake the AI, and the AI are able to go up to really strong pace as well, so you're unlikely to run out of AI challenge-ness, if you like, unless you're like, you know, top 50 in the world on the game. I don't think most will get to, so it's got longevity. It's also got mid-race saves as well, guys, right? So if you're into doing endurance, do a 24-hour spa, do an hour here and there, save it, go back and reload after, you know, whatever. So you can do an endurance season, you can do an actual SRO series if you want. Yeah, it really has it all. It really has it all in terms of it's hit a sweet spot of everything. It does everything really well. The only thing that will hold this game back would be the lack of focus on other series, but that's also what makes this game so good as well, for the reasons that I just mentioned previously. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for watching, and coming on a couple of laps in my beloved R8. It's my main car. It's the one I race in a league every week, and yeah, it's to a point now where if I drive anything else, it feels weird. But yeah, I suppose when you've spent enough hours in the game, you get to that point. But yeah, we leave it there, guys. Thanks again for watching, and yeah, until the next one.